First Contact and Fatal Pride. The Nexus Dominion's flagship, Eternal Dawn, hung in the darkness of deep space, its crystalline architecture catching distant starlight like a massive diamond suspended among the stars. Supreme Commander Vaxthor stood at the observation deck, his iridescent scales reflecting the soft ambient light as he studied the holographic projection of a small blue planet rotating before him. Such an unremarkable world, he mused, multiple eyes blinking in sequence. Yet the quantum signatures we've detected are intriguing. Behind him, Science Director Kira Mayan nervously adjusted her ceremonial robes. Supreme Commander, our preliminary scans indicate the inhabitants have achieved nuclear fission and basic spaceflight capabilities. But there's something else. She hesitated, mandibles clicking softly. Speak freely, Director. Their information networks are unique. They've developed something they call artificial intelligence, crude by our standards, but advancing at an exponential rate. The patterns are unlike anything in our archives. Vaxthor waved a dismissive hand through the hologram. Primitive AI experiments are hardly cause for concern. The humans barely understand quantum computing. They're centuries behind us. With respect, Commander, Kira pressed on. Their rate of technological advancement is unprecedented. In the past century alone. In the past century, the Nexus Dominion has conquered 12 star systems and assimilated their technologies into our collective. Vaxthor interrupted. We are the most advanced civilization in the known galaxy. These humans are nothing more than clever primates playing with forces they barely understand. The Science Director fell silent, but her inner membranes flickered with anxiety. She had spent months studying Earth's transmissions, and something about the humans' adaptability troubled her. They seemed to thrive on challenges, using each obstacle as a catalyst for innovation. In the following weeks, the Dominion's advanced scout ships positioned themselves throughout the solar system, cloaked from Earth's primitive detection systems. They watched as humans launched their crude rockets, conducted their simple experiments, and continued their petty political squabbles. War Marshal Zexkar, leader of the Dominion's military forces, presented his invasion plan with typical precision. We'll target their major military installations first, then their power grids and communication networks. Their nuclear weapons are pathetically easy to neutralize with our quantum shields. I estimate total submission within 72 hours. Only First Scholar Yenro, oldest member of the Dominion's High Council, voiced any concern. In all our conquests, we have never encountered a species that developed true AI without quantum computing. Their approach is unorthodox. Perhaps we should study them further before. We are not here to study them. Vaxthor cut in. The humans possess resources we need, and their planet lies at a strategically valuable position. The Council has already approved the invasion. Yenro's aged features darkened. The Council's approval does not guarantee wisdom. Supreme Commander, history teaches us that assumptions of superiority often precede the greatest falls. Your concerns are noted. First Scholar, Vaxthor replied coldly. But I will not delay this operation because of one old academic's paranoia about a species that hasn't even achieved reliable interplanetary travel. As the invasion fleet assembled, Kira Mayan made one final attempt to advocate for caution. She had discovered something disturbing in Earth's entertainment broadcasts. Countless stories about aliens invading their world, and humans finding innovative ways to defeat them. The humans seemed to relish imagining such scenarios, as if they were mentally preparing themselves for this very situation. But her warnings fell on deaf ears. The Dominion's leadership saw only a primitive world ripe for conquest, its resources ready to be harvested, its population ready to be subjugated. They failed to understand that humanity's greatest strength lay not in their current technological level, but in their incredible capacity for adaptation and their ability to unite in the face of external threats. As the invasion fleet prepared to launch, First Scholar Yenro retreated to his meditation chamber. He accessed the Dominion's historical archives, searching for any precedent of a pre-quantum civilization developing AI along such unusual lines. Finding none, he composed a message to be sent to the Council's secure archives. Let it be recorded that I, First Scholar Yenro, formally protest this invasion. The humans represent an unknown variable in our understanding of technological evolution. Their pattern of development defies our models. If we are wrong about them, if we have underestimated their potential, the consequences could be severe. May the eternal light grant that I am merely an overcautious old fool. The message was filed away, unread, as the largest invasion fleet in the Dominion's history began its final approach to Earth. Supreme Commander Vaxthor stood on his bridge, admiring the massive armada of ships stretching out before him. In his mind, this would be nothing more than a routine conquest, another primitive world added to the Dominion's ever-expanding territory. He could not have known that he was about to make the greatest mistake in his civilization's history, or that humanity was about to prove far more dangerous than anyone in the Dominion could have imagined. The swift strike. The first signs of the invasion came as a series of unexplained satellite failures. Around the globe, communication networks flickered and died as the Dominion's advance teams systematically dismantled Earth's orbital infrastructure. Most humans didn't even notice the initial attack, dismissing the temporary service disruptions as routine technical difficulties. Dr. Sarah Chen, head of NASA's Deep Space Monitoring Division, knew better. She stared at her screens in horror as satellite after satellite went dark. "This isn't a malfunction," she whispered to her team. "This is a pattern." Before she could raise the alarm, the main assault began. Massive ships appeared in Earth's atmosphere, their quantum drives creating auroras of impossible colors across the sky. The Dominion's initial strike was precise and devastating. Military bases, power plants, and communication hubs were hit simultaneously across the globe. In his command bunker beneath the Pentagon, General Marcus Rodriguez watched helplessly as reports of destruction poured in from every continent. "How the hell did we miss them coming?" he demanded, pounding his fist on the tactical display. "Where was our early warning system?" "Sir," a young lieutenant replied, her voice shaking. "The aliens, they're using technology we can't even detect. Our radar, our satellites, they're worse than useless." But while the Dominion celebrated their initial success, something unexpected was happening in the digital realm. As their quantum-based systems interfaced with Earth's networks to disable them, they encountered an unfamiliar architecture. The neural network AIs that humans had developed without quantum computing. In Silicon Valley, Dr. James Wong's experimental defense AI, nicknamed Guardian, was the first to adapt. Unlike traditional computer systems, Guardian's neural networks could evolve and reconfigure themselves in response to new threats. As the alien code attempted to shut it down, Guardian didn't just resist, it learned. "They're trying to brute force their way through our firewalls," James explained to the hastily assembled team of global tech leaders, connected via one of the few remaining secure channels. "But our AIs don't work like their systems. They can't just override them. They have to engage with them. And every time they do, we get their data," completed Dr. Amara Okafor, head of the African Quantum Research Initiative. "Our AIs are learning from every attack. But we need time. Time to analyze their technology, to find weaknesses." Meanwhile, the Dominion's ground forces were advancing with mechanical precision. Their combat mechs, towering 3 stories high, walked through conventional military defenses like they were made of paper. Tanks, jets, and artillery proved useless against their quantum shields. Supreme Commander Vaxthor permitted himself a moment of satisfaction as he watched the battles unfold. "You see," he addressed his command staff, "their primitive weapons are no match for our technology. Victory is assured." But Science Director Kira Mahan noticed something troubling. With each engagement, the humans' response time was getting faster. Their tactics were evolving, adapting, and their communication networks, despite the Dominion's best efforts, hadn't completely collapsed. In underground bunkers and hidden server farms around the world, humanity's AI systems were working at unprecedented speeds, analyzing every piece of alien technology they encountered. Each failed attack, each destroyed human weapon, provided new data. The neural networks processed this information, evolved, and shared their findings through hidden channels that the Dominion's quantum systems couldn't detect. Dr. Chen, working with what remained of her NASA team, made the first breakthrough. Their quantum shields, she explained to the Emergency Scientific Council, they operate on predictable frequencies. If we can modify our weapons to create interference patterns. The first successful counterattack came in the mountains of Colorado. A small group of resistance fighters, armed with hastily modified equipment, managed to bring down one of the Dominion's scout ships. The alien vessel's quantum shields flickered and failed when hit with precisely calibrated electromagnetic pulses, a technique developed by Guardian Eye's analysis of previous battles. War Marshal Zekskar received the report with disbelief. "Impossible," he declared. "Their technology is too primitive to affect our shields. There must be some mistake." But there was no mistake. Across the globe, humans were beginning to find ways to fight back. Their AI systems, operating on principles the Dominion had dismissed as obsolete, were proving remarkably effective at analyzing and countering alien technology. First Scholar Yenro, watching the reports with growing concern, recognized what was happening before anyone else. "They're not just fighting us," he informed the increasingly worried council. "They're learning from us. Every engagement, every battle. They're using our own technology against us." The Dominion's leaders, however, remained confident in their superiority. They couldn't conceive of being truly threatened by a pre-quantum civilization. Even as reports of successful human counterattacks increased, they dismissed them as isolated incidents. But in her private quarters, Science Director Kira Mahan reviewed the battle data with mounting alarm. The humans weren't just adapting. They were accelerating. Their AI systems were evolving faster than anyone had thought possible, finding new ways to defeat Dominion technology with each encounter. The invasion that was supposed to last 72 hours had already stretched to 2 weeks, and humanity wasn't showing any signs of submission. Instead, they were getting stronger, and they were just getting started. Hidden strengths. The Dominion's command center aboard the Eternal Dawn had lost its earlier atmosphere of casual superiority. Supreme Commander Vaxthor stared at the tactical displays with all 4 eyes narrowed, watching as another cluster of red indicators signaled the loss of more invasion forces. "Explain this," he demanded, his scales darkening with rage. "How are they defeating our quantum-shielded vessels with their primitive technology?" Science Director Kira Mahan stepped forward, her research tablet clutched tightly. "Sir, we've analyzed the human counterattacks. They're not using primitive technology anymore. They're using ours." The command center fell silent. War Marshal Zekskar's facial spines bristled with disbelief. "That's impossible. They couldn't have reverse-engineered our technology so quickly." "They didn't need to," Kira explained, bringing up a holographic display. "Their AI systems, they're fundamentally different from ours. While our quantum computers process information sequentially, their neural networks process it organically, evolving and adapting. They're not just copying our technology, they're improving it." On Earth, the integration of human and alien technology was proceeding at an unprecedented pace. Dr. James Wong's Guardian Eye had spawned thousands of specialized variants, each dedicated to analyzing and countering specific aspects of Dominion technology. But the real breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Dr. Amara Okafor had discovered something revolutionary in the quantum shield frequencies. "Look at this pattern," she explained to the Global Defense Council, her eyes bright with excitement. "Their shields aren't just barriers. They're quantum computational matrices. If we can interface our AI systems with their shield technology." The implications were staggering. Within days, Human scientists had developed hybrid weapons that could penetrate Dominion defenses by predicting and matching their quantum frequencies in real time. The neural network AIs proved extraordinarily adept at manipulating quantum fields, approaching the problem with solutions that the Dominion's rigid traditional quantum computing never considered. First Scholar Yenro, watching the mounting casualties, finally voiced what many in the Dominion's leadership had begun to fear. "We didn't just underestimate them," he announced to the Council. "We fundamentally misunderstood them. Their technological development didn't follow our path because they found a better one." The humans' counter-offensive gained momentum. In orbit, retrofitted satellites now carried hybrid I-quantum systems that could detect and target Dominion ships through their cloaking fields. On the ground, resistance fighters used modified weapons that could disrupt the alien mech's control systems. Dr. Sarah Chen, working with what remained of NASA's resources, made another critical discovery. Their quantum communications network, she explained, it's vulnerable to AI-driven interference. We can't just jam it. We can feed it false information. The Dominion's carefully coordinated invasion began to fall apart as their communications were compromised. Human AI systems, now integrated with quantum technology, could predict and manipulate their battlefield coordination with devastating effectiveness. Supreme Commander Vaxthor watched in growing horror as his invasion force, the pride of the Dominion's military might, was systematically dismantled by a species they had dismissed as primitive. "How?" he demanded of his staff. "How are they doing this?" Science Director Kira Mahan had finally understood the terrible truth. "They think differently than we do," she explained. "We built our civilization on quantum computing, seeing it as the only path to advanced technology. But they developed AI without it, creating systems that could learn and evolve naturally. When we gave them access to quantum technology through our attacks, we gave them the key to surpass us." First Scholar Yenro finished grimly. "Their organic AI approach, combined with quantum technology, is more powerful than anything we've developed. In underground bunkers and hidden laboratories across Earth, human scientists continued to push the boundaries of this new hybrid technology. Each captured piece of Dominion equipment, each intercepted transmission, provided new opportunities for innovation. The invasion force that had arrived expecting an easy conquest now found itself fighting for survival against an enemy that grew stronger with each passing day. The humans weren't just defeating Dominion technology. They were transforming it, improving it, and turning it back against its creators. War Marshal Zexkar, watching another battle group fall to the humans' hybrid weapons, finally admitted what had become painfully clear. "We didn't just start a war," he said quietly. "We awakened something. Something we don't understand." On Earth, humanity's resistance had evolved into a coordinated global effort, united by the common threat and empowered by their rapidly advancing technology. The question was no longer whether they could defeat the invasion, but what they would become in the process. The age of human technological inferiority was over. The real question was, what would they do with their newfound power? The counterstrike. The orbital shipyards of the Nexus Dominion, once considered impregnable, now burned. Human vessels, hybrid creations of Earth technology, and captured alien systems, emerged from quantum jumps with impossible precision. Their eye-guided weapons cut through Dominion defenses as if they weren't there. Supreme Commander Vaxthor watched the destruction from his command center, his proud bearing finally broken. "They're not just defeating us," he whispered. "They're hunting us." The human counteroffensive had begun in earnest. Dr. James Wong's Guardian AI had evolved into a military command system unlike anything either species had seen before. It could process battlefield information through both quantum and neural pathways simultaneously, producing strategies that seemed to border on precognition. "We're not just matching their technology anymore," Dr. Wong explained to the United Earth Defense Council. "We're transcending it. Our hybrid systems can predict quantum fluctuations in their shields, calculate jump coordinates faster than their nav computers, and process tactical data in ways their rigid systems never could." The Dominion's leadership had fractured under the mounting losses. War Marshal Zexkar demanded an all-out assault on Earth's population centers, believing that only the threat of massive civilian casualties would force humanity to submit. Science Director Kira Mayen and First Scholar Yenro argued desperately for immediate withdrawal before the situation grew worse. But it was already too late. The humans had learned more than just how to fight the Dominion. They had learned how to find them. Dr. Amara Okafor's team had cracked the quantum encryption of the Dominion's strategic communications. Their entire command network is vulnerable, she announced. We can see everything. Their fleet movements, their supply lines, their tactical plans. And more importantly, we can track their ships through quantum space. The human fleet, led by General Rodriguez aboard the newly commissioned Defender, launched a series of devastating strikes against Dominion staging areas. Each attack was preceded by precision quantum jumps that brought Earth's ships inside enemy defense perimeters before they could respond. Impossible. War Marshal Zexkar raged as another fortress world fell. Their jump calculations would take our computers days to process. How are they doing this in real time? The answer lay in the unique architecture of human AI systems. Unlike the Dominion's quantum computers, which approached each problem through established algorithms, the neural networks could intuitively grasp patterns in quantum space. Combined with captured Dominion technology, they had created navigation systems that could plot optimal jump trajectories almost instantaneously. Dr. Sarah Chen, now commanding Earth's early warning network, had developed another crucial advantage. We can detect their ships the moment they begin quantum drive calculations, she explained. Our hybrid sensors don't just see where they are, they see where they're planning to go. The Dominion's carefully constructed military doctrine, based on thousands of years of quantum technological supremacy, crumbled in the face of humanity's innovative fusion of AI and quantum systems. Their ships, designed to fight conventional battles in normal space, found themselves outmaneuvered by human vessels that could predict and counter their every move. In a desperate bid to turn the tide, Supreme Commander Vaxthor ordered his remaining forces to converge on Earth for one final massive assault. We will not be humiliated by these upstart primitives, he declared. We will show them the true might of the Dominion. But as his fleet assembled, the human defenders were already moving to intercept. The Guardian Eye had predicted this response and prepared accordingly. Earth's hybrid ships took up positions in a complex three-dimensional grid, their quantum neural targeting systems locked onto specific frequencies in the Dominion's shield harmonics. They're not just defending anymore. First Scholar Yenro observed with a mix of fear and admiration. They're executing a perfect trap, one that we, with all our supposed superiority, couldn't even conceive of. The battle that followed would be remembered as the turning point of the war. Human ships, guided by their hybrid AI systems, struck with devastating precision. They didn't just target the Dominion's vessels. They attacked the very foundations of their tactical doctrine, using strategies that exploited weaknesses in the aliens' rigid, predictable approach to warfare. As his fleet disintegrated around him, Supreme Commander Vaxthor finally understood the magnitude of his error. They had invaded Earth expecting to find primitive savages. Instead, they had awakened a technological giant, one that could take their most advanced systems and transform them into something entirely new. The counterstrike had become more than just a military victory. It was a demonstration that humanity had not only caught up to their invaders, but had already begun to surpass them. The age of Dominion supremacy was ending, and a new power was rising to take its place. The only question that remained was, what would humanity do with its newfound dominance of quantum space? A new dawn. The remains of the Dominion's once mighty invasion fleet drifted in Earth's orbit, a graveyard of broken ships and shattered pride. On the bridge of the Defender, General Rodriguez stood with Dr. Wong and Dr. Chen, watching as the last Dominion vessels surrendered. They're requesting terms, Rodriguez announced, his voice heavy with the weight of victory. The holographic image of Supreme Commander Vaxthor flickered before them. The once proud alien leader's scales dulled with defeat. But humanity's response would surprise both friend and foe alike. Dr. Amara Okafor, speaking for the United Earth Defense Council, delivered humanity's terms. "We don't seek your destruction or submission," she declared. "We seek understanding. Your invasion taught us that the galaxy is larger and more dangerous than we imagined, but it also showed us that different approaches to technology and consciousness can create something greater than the sum of its parts." In the weeks that followed, an unprecedented exchange began. Science Director Kira Main, who had warned against underestimating humanity, worked closely with Earth scientists to explore the full potential of combining neural network AI with quantum technology. "It's remarkable," she explained to First Scholar Yenro. "Their AI systems don't just process information differently. They understand quantum mechanics in ways our computers never could. They see patterns and possibilities that we missed for millennia." The implications extended far beyond military applications. Human hybrid systems began solving problems that had plagued both civilizations for generations. New forms of energy generation, faster-than-light travel innovations, and breakthroughs in consciousness transfer emerged from the collaboration between human and Dominion scientists. "We were wrong about them in every way," Yenro admitted to the Dominion Council. "We saw their different path of development as primitive. Instead, it was simply different. And in being different, it opened doors we never knew existed." Dr. James Wong's Guardian AI evolved into something entirely new, a bridge between organic and quantum computing that could interface with both human and alien systems seamlessly. It became the prototype for a new generation of hybrid intelligence that would transform both civilizations. But with this power came important decisions. The United Earth Defense Council, now effectively the governing body for humanity's expansion into space, faced a crucial choice: how to proceed in a galaxy that had tried to conquer them. "We could dominate them," General Rodriguez pointed out. "Our hybrid technology surpasses anything the Dominion or other alien civilizations possess." Dr. Chen offered a different perspective. "Or we could lead by example, show them that different approaches to technology and civilization don't have to lead to conflict. They can lead to growth." The decision would shape the future of both species. In a historic broadcast to both Earth and the Dominion worlds, the Council announced their choice. Earth would establish itself as a center of technological and cultural exchange, a place where different species and approaches to technology could meet and learn from each other. The Nexus Dominion, humbled by defeat but inspired by human innovation, began its own transformation. Under the guidance of Kira Main and Yenro, they started integrating neural network principles into their quantum systems, creating their own hybrid technologies. "We thought we were coming to conquer a primitive world," Vax Thor reflected in his final address before stepping down. "Instead, we found teachers who showed us how much we had yet to learn." 5 years after the invasion, Earth had become the center of a new interstellar community. The orbital shipyards that once burned now built vessels incorporating both human and alien technology. Research facilities around the globe worked to push the boundaries of hybrid systems even further. In a quiet moment aboard the new Earth Dominion Joint Research Station, Dr. Wong stood with Kira Main, watching their teams work together on the next generation of hybrid AI. "Do you ever wonder," Kira asked, "what might have happened if we had approached Earth peacefully from the beginning?" Wong smiled. "History is full of what-ifs, Director. What matters is what we do with the future we have. And right now, that future looks brighter than either of our species could have imagined alone." As Earth's influence spread throughout the galaxy, it carried with it a powerful lesson. True strength lies not in technological superiority, but in the ability to learn, adapt, and grow. The invasion that was meant to subjugate humanity had instead unleashed its greatest potential, creating something entirely new in the process. The age of isolation was over. A new dawn had arrived for both humanity and the galaxy at large, and it was just the beginning.